Okay, this is for sub wins. You want to check out, go scroll back to my videos. There's one video that says the Soccer Cookbook for Coaches, and then you want to check out the Soccer Cookbook for Parents. And then if you scroll back even farther, focus on those first two. I'm wearing a black turtleneck shirt, and there's a pink background, right? So there's two ways you can go about it. The first way, in regards to your son, when he's at home, there's a ball that you can buy. It's called the Dribble Up ball, and the reason why I think this is super effective is because the trainer who changed the trajectory of my training, he spent a lot of time. Almost every single thing we did was a skills game for the most part. So why I think this is important is because if your son responds to using this ball, he can improve effortlessly. And since, right, it's like the Pareto principle. If one player on the team takes their game to the next level, rising tide rises all boats. So he like, if one person can level up significantly, it'll help win, which will boost morale, which will boost, training, XYZ. The second thing that you can do is, right, U10, yes, winning is important, but I think if you could only focus on one thing, player development or winning games, I think you got to focus on player development. So you could treat each practice like a skills development a session, because in theory, as fundamental skills rise, so will joy, right? Because well, if you focus on the fundamentals, your team's going to have more fun. So you could structure each practice with a warm-up. You go warm-up, then it's ball skills mastery. For ball skills mastery, you could check out Fanta Sista Mickey on YouTube or Instagram. That's FANTA SISTA MICKEY. And this is going to show you how, a toddler who's probably around 8 to 10 years old, using simple dribbling sequences, they're tremendous. They're tremendous. I've broken down. You got to slow down his video and replicate. First, you yourself have to master it so that you could teach it. And you could pull a dribbling sequence from him. You could use the Cover, COERVER, the Cover coaching app for, that's on the Apple App Store, or right. So that's also an option. You could search. You could search Dribble Up ball, like I said, but it's more about being able to master the skills so you can demonstrate them. Because if you can't demonstrate it, then it's kind of all for nothing. So that's important. The second phase, it's a blend between it's a blend between first phase, ball skills mastery, second phase, dribbling sequences, third phase is juggling game. And the juggling game that I grew up on that changed my life was called the barrel game. So all you do is you either put a garbage can that's close to your field in the center circle, right? So that creates an easy boundary for your whole team to line up around. And the goal is to juggle the ball from a few feet away using their right foot, then left foot, then both feet alternating. And that's with or without a bounce, depending on their skill level. I'm assuming without a bounce. And then right thigh, left thigh, then both feet alternating. right? So, I mean, both thighs alternating and then finishing with any part of the body that they want. And what this is going to help them do is not only develop their dribbling, but also it's a fun way to develop their juggling, their aerial juggling. And it's just a fun game because it's going to be chaotic. If you have your whole team, they're going to be bumping into each other, right? And you don't want to use a whistle. You kind of want to let them go through the progression at their free will, right? So some will finish sooner and some will finish later, but that's the fun of it because, right, it's a game. They're just competing with each other. And then lastly, ideally you have some taller cones, right? The ones that you could knock over, and you could finish with this segment that's called, it's just 1v1, right? 1v1 to cones. Each player, right? You pair the players up against each other, and they gotta knock each other's cone over. So it's really gonna develop their not only dribbling abilities but shielding, attacking, defending, which will translate to better, in theory, better play, because you could argue that the whole game is just a bunch of 1v1 interactions, right? In a oversimplification. So, and that's it, right? That's the format I grew up with this, Tom Turnbull, my skills and drills coach, he used this format for almost every training session. I use this on my middle schoolers, which were around the same age. So, right, this is not perfect. It's not a perfect method for development, but I think it makes skills development fun in a way that flows logically, right? Because it's each session you master a new move, a ball mastery move, and then you want to kind of visit the ones you did before, and then you can learn a new one. So in theory, throughout the season, they'll learn, a handful of moves, assuming you could do one a week or, something like that, just so that they're developing. So, but the key is to be able to master the moves first so that you can teach it. Because if you try and articulate it without showing them a model of what that looks like, then it will be harder for them to learn if they have no model. So that's just something to keep in mind. Another way that you can elevate your son's training, right, since you're the one who has, I guess, closest access to him, is show him how to use a kick trainer. And a lot of clubs around the world, AC Milan, Ajax, Sevilla, all encourage their youth teams to use kick trainers because they're super effective. You can cram months of training into days or weeks, and right, because you can get so many touches, so many repetitions in a fun and effortless way that, I just believe that kick trainers are the most underrated soccer training tool around, because you could argue they're better than using a rebounder, and they're better than using a wall because it's hyper portable and it's cheap, so there's no barrier to entry. And right, most players get frustrated while juggling, and usually because if the ball runs away, or they're not taught how to practice and play in a joyful way. So the cheapest one on Amazon is $24. So that's a tool that you don't want to just give it to your son. You want to set it to his height and then use it yourself so that he learns how to use it. If you just give it to him, he's not going to appreciate the benefits or how to use it. So you gotta show him via monkey see, monkey do, right? This is the same way I taught my college team, right? I was second assistant at the local college, and just by using it at practice, some of the players started gravitating towards it and using it. So same concept. What else? When your team's doing Jam, thank you. When your team's using or doing ball mastery or dribbling sequences or the 1v1 game, if you use smaller balls, size 1s or size 2s, if you have the bankroll for it or the investment for it, you could argue that their development will be faster, since it's a little bit more challenging to use a smaller ball. So when they get to a game size 4, size 5, they're going to have a competitive advantage, since they're going to develop a sensitivity for the smaller ball. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But reach out with any questions, and I hope this helps. All right, thank you.